This segment of Black Spring with Autumn on your Saturday. Well, you see the title. Let's find out who's coming to dinner. Good morning. It is Saturday, and thank you so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I happen to be Black Spring. And also, we're going to do, of course, our regular house cleaning diligence to say good morning, to say thank you to our sponsors, our patrons, and of course, our viewers like yourself. And we'll be right back to get started. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn on your Saturday. And again, it is Saturday, and I want to be a little bit more courteous and give you guys a chance to get in, because I have just some commentary. I have some commentary that I want to share, just rather some thoughts. I've been kind of random this week, but there's a ton of things, of course, going on. I want to say hello to friends in the chat. We have Amaro Mia Vakron. Now, call me crazy, but it almost sounds like something else, but I'm not going to say that on here right now. And good morning to John H. Roberts Jr. Good morning to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. So what I want to do, I want to speak to a couple of things. I have at least one liner, and I have I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this particular topic, but it looks like Hillary Clinton is giving master classes. You know, for those of that ilk, the word master on the front of anything has to be, defined by none other than your elite. So I find that to be a little bit hypocritical, a little bit condemning for someone of that faction, but we'll get into that. And of course, I will put the link out here shortly, but let's just talk just a minute. We've had a couple of things happened this week. Of course, we have the trial of is it Juicy or Jussie Smollett or Smollett, whatever you want to call it. We've seen that. We've seen what is a 5 out of 6 kind of conviction for him. And then I think we also heard of some faction of what BLM, and I'm calling them a faction of BLM, but I think that just says, that the leftist, aka to me, the Democrats, are still behind, him. And I do think that a lot of implication or a lot of innuendo could be damning for other people that may have been linked to that situation. But we'll see. And it looks like even CNN has responded, or they may be responding to something that might be like house cleaning. It might be a bit of house cleaning that they're going to end up doing. But I will tell you one of the most staggering things that I came across this week. Let's go ahead and start. Okay, shall we? We'll start. And I entitled this stream, it's not a direct correlation. And of course, it's not the movie with Sidney Poitier. It's not inspired by that version of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. It's more like Guess What Is Coming to Dinner. And then what I mean is, in this season, whether you're celebrating or not, we're talking about this holiday season. We're talking about, this is, of course, a time for those that are celebrating and having family gatherings. What kinds of, it's speaking to the kinds of conversation that you could potentially have on your, at your dinner table, dare I say, just dinner table. It could be at your lunch. Guess what's coming to brunch, or guess what topics could come up, or subjects that come up during that time, during this extensive amount of time. Some of this time for, people, this is the most that they visit with their loved ones throughout the year, or people returning home from being away or doing, whatever it is that they do. But this is speaking to Hillary Clinton's masterclass. Okay. I'm speaking specifically about Hillary Clinton's masterclass. I am going to play that masterclass for you. However, I'm a little bit pensive about whether I'm going to offer. I don't want to offer commentary right away. I want you to have an opportunity to see it, and then we'll talk about it. I'll give you my impression of it. I'll give you my assertion of it, and then we'll go from there. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. All right. Thanks so much again for tuning in. So let's go ahead and have a look. I have an entire analysis prepared for this. And what I want you to see it first. I want you to have an opportunity to see it first so that you can make your own assertions. And of course, I'm more than willing to open this conversation up so that you can have an opportunity to chime in. So much. We're going to go ahead and share that screen. And welcome in if you're brand new in, or if you're not sure whether or not you're coming in. Thank you so much for considering, and thank you for those of you who were able to tune in during this week's Black Spring Mobile. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to give you the liner, but we're going to jump to it. I'm not going to go into the verbiage, to the text on this. We're going to look at this. We're going to look at it ourselves, and I'm going to give you my assertion, and then I'm going to open it up and see what you guys have to, what you're picking up from this. And I don't know, maybe somebody in your family is going to be, interested in this particular sharing of her. So according to this liner, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a full scale on this. Hope you guys are doing well on your Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hello, Luciano. How are you? Thanks so much for coming in. So we're gonna play it. I'm gonna tell you, it's a touchy. It's a 7 minutes, and I don't want to spill the beans because I have my own assertions on this. But you'll be able. Luciano says, please. I'll save the comments. Let's go ahead and give you a full layout here. All right, so really quickly here, according to this is come from today.com, okay? Hillary Clinton chokes up as she reads parts of the victory speech she hoped to deliver in 2016. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start us right on that. And then I'm going to give you the full screen, and then we'll come back in. We'll meet in the middle when this is done. So hope you're sitting down.
My most public defeats head on by sharing with you the speech I had hoped to deliver if I had won the 2016 election. So this was supposed to be the victory speech that I would have delivered on election night in New York on November the 8th of 2016. I've never shared this with anybody. I've never read it out loud, but it helps to encapsulate who I am, what I believe in, and what my hopes were for the kind of country that I want for my grandchildren and that I want for the world that I believe in is America at its best. My fellow Americans, today you sent a message to the whole world. Our values endure, our democracy stands strong, and our motto remains e pluribus unum, out of many, one. We will not be defined only by our differences. We will not be an us versus them country. The American dream is big enough for everyone. Through a long, hard campaign, we were challenged to choose between two very different visions for America: how we grow together, how we live together, and how we face a world full of peril and promise together. Fundamentally, this election challenged us to decide what it means to be an American in the 21st century. And by reaching for unity, decency, and what President Lincoln called the better angels of our nature, we met that challenge. Today, with your children on your shoulders, neighbors at your side, friends old and new standing as one, you renewed our democracy. And because of the honor you have given me, you changed fate forever. I've met women who were born before women had the right to vote. They've been waiting 100 years for tonight. I've met little boys and girls who didn't understand why a woman has never been president before. Now they know, and the world knows, that in America, every boy and every girl can grow up to be whatever they dream, even President of the United States. This is victory for all Americans, men and women, boys and girls, because as our country has proven once again, when there are no ceilings, the sky, the limit. This summer, a writer asked me if I could go back in time and tell anyone in history about this milestone, who would it be? And the answer was easy. My mother, Dorothy. You may have heard me talk about her difficult childhood. She was abandoned by her parents when she was just 8 years old. Put her on a train to California where she was mistreated by her grandparents and ended up out on her own working as a housemaid. Yet she still found a way to offer me the boundless love and support she never received herself. She taught me the words of our Methodist faith: do all the good you can for all the people you can, in all the ways you can, as long as ever you can. I think about my mother every day. Sometimes I think about her on that train. I wish I could walk down the aisle. I wish I could walk down the aisle and find the little wooden seats where she sat, holding tight to her even younger sister, alone, terrified. She doesn't yet know how much she will suffer. She doesn't yet know she will find the strength to escape that suffering. That is still a long way off. The whole future is still unknown. As she stares out at the vast country move past her, I dream of going up to her and sitting down next to her, taking her in my arms and saying, "Look at me, listen to me. You will survive. You will have a good family of your own and 3 children. And as hard as it might be to imagine, your daughter will grow up and become the President of the United States." I am as sure of this as anything I have ever known. America is the greatest country in the world. And from tonight going forward, together, we will make America even greater than it has ever been for each and every one of us. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless America. If you dig deep enough through all the mud of politics, eventually you hit something hard and true. A foundation of fundamental values that unite us as Americans. You prove that today. A country divided by race and religion, class and culture, and often paralyzing partisanship, a broad coalition of Americans embraced a shared vision of a hopeful, inclusive, big-hearted America. An America where women are respected and immigrants are welcomed, where veterans are honored, parents are supported, and workers are paid fairly. An America where we believe in science, where we look beyond people's disabilities and see their possibilities, where marriage is a right and discrimination is wrong. No matter who you are, what you look like, where you come from, or who you love. An America where everyone counts and everyone has a place and a purpose. Because we all have a role to play in our great American story. And yes, that absolutely includes everyone who voted for other candidates or who didn't vote at all.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. So, for those of you just now coming in, that was the recap, a little bit of the premise for the title of this. So, I don't mean literally guess who's coming to dinner. It's a idea in which I think this is the time of year which people are either returning home from either being away, or people are going to have extended time at home to see or visit with loved ones or friends or whatnot. And I figure, politics might come up. And by the way, this is, I think, a special that there might be running if you're interested in attending one of these master classes. But I just want to say this. Okay, well, we're looking at that particular clip or excerpt. I want to put it up here so that everybody knows, at least have an idea of who I'm actually referring to in this. So I'm just going to at least give you the visual on this so you can see that this is the subject of what we're talking about here at this point. So she's choked up about this, right? I think there's a lot of contradiction going on there, per usual. And I want to get into that just really quickly. So if you have a kid or somebody that's coming home for the holidays, or if you guys are wondering what kinds of issues might come up, be prepared. This could be very well one of those topics that comes up. Okay, so to me, I think there's an even a micro level. This is a bird's eye view of the elite projecting or kind of playing out or acting out on your college kid like dolls in the names of their, in the name of their own ideologies or Marxist ideologies and values that you see. You might see this kind of rhetoric spouted at your own table, because from what I've understood, many kids are coming home now. Many kids are coming home from college, and they don't even sound like they're kids. Like, the parents are listening to the things that they say, and it's basically based on Marxist ideology. So you can probably, something's going to come up like this around, or even if it's not from your kid, it might be just from someone else, somebody that's very impressionable, whether they are identifying, with one community, LGBTQ or whatever, that might very well come up. So from this standpoint, master classes, right? Now, I'm familiar with the term master class as it relates to music and performance. I am, but I'm also familiar with the term master class when it comes to other disciplines and other, genres or arts or, whatever you want to get into, entities you want to get into. However, this is what happens. You end up with somebody like this, okay? She'll end up, for God's sakes, she might end up becoming a professor. She could probably be welcome with open arms at Columbia University, just about NYU, just about anywhere, Queens College. She might end up on the faculty somewhere. But for me, it's usually the professor. To me, I'm saying sometimes professors end up being something in them, or there's something that just didn't quite turn out. Either they had a failed campaign, a failed career, and lo and behold, failure somewhere came along in the career. And now your kid is the subject of some type of pompous jerk, or a bitter madam, or a globalist, or some type of person acting out as if they're their leader. So for 3 to 4 months or a semester, your kid has to be subjected to this person, acting out, or this is, to me, it's kind of a way, it's like denial, or somebody that's kind of to relinquish their own sword, or to retreat and say, hey, maybe this didn't work out, but they end up going to the college scene because they're not really hacking it out here. They can't really hack it in reality. So they end up retreating to your kid's college campus, where they're acting out on your kid every day for 3 to 4 days a week in a lecture. So this is the kind of master class that you might be subjected to. But I do find that this one's a little bit ironic in the fact that they even used master on the front of it, because, even in the real estate sector, they've decided they're going to eliminate the word master bedroom. Master bedroom can no longer be used in real estate in some states or some areas, because they find it so offensive. I can't remember, what are they going to call it? What are they going to call the bedroom now? You can't be the master bedroom anymore. And then how long before they say you can't get a master's degree? So what's the degree going to be above the bachelor's degree? I'm saying, this is kind of trivial, but I'm saying, I think this is how professors are made. And they're made from this kind of, rhetoric, and this kind of, this kind of soldier or king or queen retreating out of failure somewhere in their career. So to me, it's of course it's somewhat. I think there's some compelling in there elements of her choking up in here, but at the same time, it doesn't really sound like her. It sounds like it almost sounds MAGA like. And at some point, she admits that the country has greatness, and but then to me, that's totally antithetical to the rhetoric that's put out by progressives and liberals, and it's totally opposite of that. I mean, who would have thought that she would say, that she prefers America great and making America even greater than before. So I'm just thinking, I'm not sure who actually wrote this or whose idea was this, but I'm not sure how many people are going to be interested in a master class that's loaded with this kind of rhetoric. I don't know. Of course, I'd love to hear what you guys think about something like this. I don't know. Maybe you have your own stories, but I mean, I'm not talking. I would like to think I'm not talking out of my, out of my ears, because I've been to college, but of course I've actually been a professor myself, but I never wanted kids to worship me, because to me, for somebody to worship you, it has to be proven to be worthy. And I don't find that many of these personalities are worthy. It's more about, their ego, or some people say, some instances, some settings, they say, well, I got mine, you better get yours, because I'm here and you're there, and you are under my, dare I say, you are under my spell right now for the next 3 to 4 months if you want to pass this class. So do as I say, or else. But yeah, so I'm just saying, she did sound a little maggot. If that was her projected speech, then I think it was a little bit contradicting there. But then on top of that, you could tell where she was basically leading with women, and then she's leading with immigration. She's leading with the same for the people kinds of socialist kind of Marxist stuff that they always do. Nothing different about that. But like I said, I don't know. I'm not sure how much, if I could sit through that master class. I don't know. It's supposed to be on resilience. I'm not sure if her reaction, or even her actual convincing was quite. It shows. I don't think the reaction for the last several years have shown resilience. I find it more of a bitter. It's been more of a bitter retreat. And as I said, a relinquishing of the crown or the sword. I think she's doing what typical elitists do. When they can't cut it here in the real world, or when they're rejected in the real world, they go to the college sector, to the glass house there, because they know they're untouchable. And your kid is who they act out on every day. So there you go. If you guys are going to bite off of that, take a bite out of that master class, then, there's some site that you can go to, but there's a couple of sessions. I think there's two for something. I don't know what the cost is, but I know that it's being put out. It's being, promoted and marketed that way. So I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Alien Believers is here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Information Man Shows, nice to see you. How are you? Hope you're doing well. And Marion Bird. I'm not sure if this is your first time, but welcome in. Thanks so much for tuning in. And Jermaine G, thank you so much. And I had Luciano, as well as John H. Roberts earlier, and the Omia Markra Nova. That's a lot. That's fully loaded. I have my ideas about what that could be, but I don't want to go into it on this segment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Information Man Show. It's nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. And I'm doing well enough. I'm still hanging around here. So okay. So what we're going to do also, we're going to change gears here just a second. We're going to go to a story in Canada, and it's kind of, I think many people have been alluding to that we're dealing with somewhat of a spiritual battle right now, whether it's, religion or, I think that one's reimagining everything. As you could see from that particular interview, that, you know, they basically want to reimagine everything. And then they throw around the word democracy all the time, which is, to me, it's very, it's subterfuge. It's very deceptive. And she was right, 2 different visions. And I'm not sure that her vision is not being played out right now. It's just not by her hand. It's just, maybe it's delayed, you know, maybe it's just delayed. But yeah, so, but I find it, the tone of all of that was very, I don't know. I've never projected my own values for a large scale of people. To say that I can speak for, or that I can lead, or that I can articulate, and I can serve. I know what's best for an entire nation, and say that that's something that I would revisit if I could, you know, basically speak to a loved one of mine in the past or whatnot. To me, it came off a little bit more like a eulogy. In all honesty, I think it was more like a eulogy. I don't know. To me, it spoke to more feminism than anything. It didn't really, to me, that really wasn't about the nation. It was more of, you know, like the death of a dream, the ode to my dream of being, you know, the first female to be president of the United States. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like an ode to, an ode on an urn. You know, do I go into John Keats? Ode on a Grecian urn? No, it's ode on a feminist urn. That's over, and I have to accept it. And to me, I don't think she accepted it very well. The detachment skills from that, there's a lot to be desired there. So I don't know, how did I get back on that? But what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and switch to gears. Now I'm gonna take a quick little break, and I'll be right back. Of course, I'll give you guys a chance to chime in on some of this shortly. We're gonna visit our friends from Canada shortly, and we'll be right back. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn, and hello to California Dreamin'. That's Dreamin' NYC. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and switch gears over to this story that's coming out of Canada, because when I discovered this liner, it was it spoke to me in like a bit of there was a banning of the Bible kind of a essence that I was getting. So without further ado, I'll get into this liner. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll give you the full scale on this. All right. Thank you so much. So here we are. According to this comes from lifesitenews.com. Canada's anti-quote conversion therapy, end quote, law is a declaration of war on religion, families, and conscience. Okay, the only solution is for Christian leaders to refuse to comply, preaching the word openly and saying that change is possible, and for counselors and therapists to do the same, continuing to serve those who willingly come for help. Okay. All right. So this is a flag here raised on Canada's Parliament grounds. That's from June 1st of 2016. However, this is the penman Michael L. Brown on Thursday, December 9th, reporting it may sound harmless, but the Canadian Senate's decision to fast track and pass a bill prohibiting quote, conversion therapy, end quote, is terribly dangerous and to date without precedent worldwide. How on earth did this happen? An article on Canada's CTV News referred to, quote, the harmful practice, end quote, of conversion therapy, noting that this will now be banned for people of all ages, part of a promise to quote, the LGBTQ 2S plus community, end quote, by the current government. Now, I don't know, my Canadian friends out there, if you guys would disabuse us of any, misspellings or misdefinitions here. LGBTQ 2S plus. I have no idea what the 2S plus means. I don't. So, I think this is an advantageous community and relationships. If you care to fill us in on that, by all means. Okay, I'll continue. As to why the bill was fast-tracked, Senator Leo Housakos, a member of Canada's Conservative Party, explained, quote, I think we have to get to the reflex in this institution, and that when something is in the universal interest, public interest, that we should not create unnecessary duplication and engage into unnecessary debates, end quote. In other words, when there's such widespread agreement with something is so evil and dangerous, we must act quickly, decisively, without debate and discussion. Let's get this thing done. How does CTV News define, quote, conversion therapy? A name created by the critics, not the practitioners. It states that, quote, conversion, quote, therapy, end quote, as it has been called, seeks to change a person's sexual orientation to heterosexual or gender identity to cisgender. It can include seeking to repress someone's non-heterosexual attraction or repressing a person's gender expression or non-cisgender identity. Quote, these practices can take various forms, including counseling and behavioral modification, and they have been opposed by numerous health and human rights groups, end quote. So we're not just talking about trying to force gays to try to become straight or kidnapping children and subjecting them to torture in a secret reprogramming camp, God forbid. There is not a genuine Christian I know on the planet that would agree to such practices, nor is there a counselor I know who would engage in them. If that is what is meant by, quote, conversion therapy, end quote, and of course, we should all oppose it. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. The reality is that this new bill actually prohibits Christians from practicing their faith when it comes to homosexuality and bisexuality and transgenderism. It also prohibits people who want to get help to pursue change, whatever their age, from pursuing that change, as long as it is change away from being gay or bi or trans. Not only so, but the bill prohibits any attempt at, quote, behavioral modification, end quote, meaning simply wanting to lessen one's same-sex attractions or actions. This is now forbidden by law. Okay, I hope you guys are still with me on this one. As expressed by Jose Ruba, communications director of Free to Care, quote, this means heterosexual Canadians could get support to reduce their unwanted sexual behavior, but non-heterosexuals could not. This is a violation of our charter rights, end quote. Talk about dangerous government overreach. Talk about yet another step towards banning the Bible. This bill is actually the worst thing of its kind that has ever been passed. And it was passed unanimously with the help of, quote, conservative, end quote, senators. Did we not tell you this was coming? What happens to a 30-year-old married man with children who secretly struggles with same-sex attraction? Under the new law, could he receive professional counseling to help him deal with these attractions? Not a chance. He could, however, get counseling to help him embrace his homosexual desires, even if it destroyed his marriage. What about a 19-year-old woman who feels tormented within her own skin as if she's a man trapped in a female body? If she wanted to find wholeness from the inside out rather than getting on hormones for life and having radical sex change surgery, could she receive professional counseling? Absolutely not. But if you're a 10-year-old child who identifies as trans, you can get a doctor to prescribe puberty blockers for you, and you can start to plan for the first of several sex change operations when you reach 18. How utterly perverse. The opening text of the bill reads, you know what? I'm actually going to put this in the stream for you guys because in the bottom, there's a petition here, all kinds of things. But, these are our neighbors to the north. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one up for you. But it's not too much longer here. So the opening text of the bill reads, This enactment amends the criminal code to, among other things, create the following offenses: A, causing another person to undergo conversion therapy; B, doing anything for the purpose of removing a child from Canada with the intention that the child undergo conversion therapy outside Canada; C, promoting or advertising conversion therapy; and D, receiving a financial or material benefit from the provision of conversion therapy. So, based on provisions C and D, if you are a professional counselor who has helped people with unwanted same-sex attractions or gender identity confusion for years, you can neither advertise such services or receive payment for them. Talk about discriminatory under the law. You might say, well, you're getting this all wrong. The issue is dangerous conversion therapy. There's no problem with a counselor or pastor helping someone deal with unwanted same-sex attractions or the like. That's where you're mistaken, end quote. Quite the contrary. Instead, all positive attempts to help the countless LGBT individuals who want to change for personal or religious reasons are branded, quote, conversion therapy, end quote. And any belief that homosexual practice is wrong or that God created only two sexes, male and female, is now labeled as bigoted. So here on the bottom, they give you an opportunity to deal with, this from a petition standpoint. So they show you that. I'm going to put this in the stream for you guys. You might find this interesting. Somewhere along the lines, I think I have some Canadians in the house. I do. It's Alex Bleeping Jones. Good morning to you. How are you? So we're going to finish that one up, and I'll put that one because I'm actually probably going to watch that story develop. I think that's, I think being globally attuned certainly doesn't hurt you these days. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? All right. So we're going to finish this one up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment. Okay. But it says, don't take my word for it. Listen to the bill's preamble. Okay. Whereas conversion therapy causes harm to the persons who are subjected to it. Whereas conversion therapy causes harm to society because, among other things, it is based on and propagates myths and stereotypes about sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression, including the myth that heterosexuality, cisgender identity, and gender expression that conforms to the sex assigned to a person at birth are to be preferred over other sexual orientations, gender identities, and gender expressions. And whereas in light of those harms, it is important to discourage and denounce the provision of conversion therapy in order to protect the human dignity and equality of all Canadians. Now, therefore, Her Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate and House of Commons of Canada, enacts as follows. So under Canadian law, you are believing in, quote, myths, end quote, and stereotypes, end quote, if you affirm what the Bible teaches, namely that 1, marriage is a union of one man and one woman; 2, homosexual practice is always sinful in God's sight; 3, heterosexuality is God's intended norm for the human race; 4, there are only two sexes, male and female; 5, it is better to be at home in your biological body than to pursue sex change; 6, with God's help, all people can change; and 7, there are many ex-gay and ex-trans individuals. As expressed by a Canadian pastor, the LGBT movement, which, quote, fought for tolerance, equality, and acceptance, now denies these rights for others and demands those with deeply rooted religious convictions deny who they are and conform to a society that hates them, end quote. And what happens to the professional counselor or pastor who offers to help someone struggling? They could be fined, or worse still, go to jail. And California almost passed a similar bill in 2018, also banning professional help for people of all ages. I dubbed it the, quote, must stay gay, end quote, bill, asking if California would ban the Bible and religious books next. But Canada has long been ahead of America in this regard, to the point that decades back, when Dr. James Dobson would address these issues on his Focus on the Family radio broadcast, the shows could not be aired in Canada. Now the nation has taken a very dangerous plunge, awaiting the official signature on the bill from the Governor General or her designate. The only solution is for Christian leaders to refuse to comply, preaching the word openly and saying that change is possible, and for counselors and therapists to do the same, continuing to serve those who willingly come for help. All right. As for America, wake up. Otherwise, what happened in Canada won't stay in Canada. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that comes from LifeSite News. Now, many people could see the writing on the wall. We've got a lot of things going on here. They just kind of chip away at it. It may not be, it may not be here yet, but why? It's knocking on the door. It's on the doorstep. So, are we? Let's see. Hi, AZ Infidel. Thank you so much for coming in. He says, I guess they won't argue from the point of what would Jesus do anymore. Yeah, what can I say? I think that I think with the social justice and the environmental, the climate change and all that bit, that I think they want that to be a part of the religion. I think they want that to be your religion. And if you go against that, then you're going to have problems. Okay. You really are. And I think, how many more years is the U.S. going to be subjected to Dr. Fauci? I mean, how many? I mean, whatever happened to the scientific method, right? Because I'm not a scientist. I wasn't a biology major. I'm not a virologist. I don't have those backgrounds. But I always thought that if things could withstand these types of surveys and peer review, then that was the opinion that would be most regarded, or that would be the winning, I call me crazy, call me crazy. But I'm just saying. So I guess all of that is out of the window. So what exactly would they be teaching in colleges right now? If everything is the antithesis of what, or if there's no Hippocratic oath, or if all of that is out the window, then what is your college based on right now? What are your clinicals based on? What kind of theories or studies are they basing it on? I don't know. The future is pretty scary, right? Not just religious or religious freedoms or expressions, or the science. What is that? If they can redefining everything, redefining what even, redefining what a virus is. So if we're going to just keep doing that, it's like the weather, right? It's like, so science and all of that is just a living and breathing thing, right? So we never really have any, we're not really rooted in anything, or I don't know. It's just, we're at the whim of one man's ego, it seems. And, seems like we're going to run the country into the ground based on that as well. AZ Infidel says, from a historical perspective, society felt sorry for them in the 1970s and let them out of the closet. He says, now they're coming after us for not agreeing with them. Yeah, I gotta help you to say, I think I definitely think that, I think that the patient in this right now, I really do, and we're just kind of clucking along. We really are. So yeah, I'm just thinking, if you just look at the year, and the last 2 years, we go for what is essential anymore? Like, who are the arbiters of what it needs to be essential anymore? I mean, what does it mean to be? What does a virus mean? It can change at any time. Even to me, I think even the definition of a crime can change. I think crimes are essential now. Crimes, but justice is not essential. I mean, compassion is not as essential either, right? Degrees aren't essential, unless you want people to stay on the. But that's the contradiction that I'm talking about. The degrees aren't really essential, but you got to keep people on corporate plantation. And you got all these companies that are offering all these subsidies, even they're hiring advertisements for college, for tuition. I don't know. It just feels bizarre. It's very bizarre. Twilight Zone. Like, can I get off of this bipolar express? I'm ready to get off. I'm going to take a quick little break, and I might open this up just for a second. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to on our Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And we started out with Hillary's masterclass. So you guys can go check that out. I think there's a 2 for special going on. In that, you'll be getting a copy of her would have been post, her speech, acceptance speech, or what, Derek, can I call it that? So yeah, but I just find it interesting that that she's still she still figures that she's relevant on some level, but maybe she's about to retreat. Maybe she's about to relinquish her crown in the classroom now. Maybe she'll be at Columbia and she'll tell you all about her dreams. And I don't know. Feminists are they're going to be forever pissed about it. Okay, so that's coming soon. Learn resilience. Okay, that's what you're going to learn. But I would imagine, if she doesn't get what she wants there, she'll end up at Columbia or NYU or Queens College, or I don't know. But there's quite a few people on that site with her as well. The master class. There's a master class site for all those from the who have been on, some elected officials are on the site with her as well. Hi, Two Hats. How are you? All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I did put a link out. So we have a whopping 10 minutes. And depending on you, we will be closing out if we don't have any takers or any commentary. So we did have the masterclass as well as, and I did give you my analysis on what I thought, what was there, what I saw there. I thought it was more of a eulogy. So I don't know if you're interested in that, go ahead, have a look. Or ode to my feminist dreams, to the end of my feminist dreams. I don't know. But thank you guys for tuning in. Hello, and everyone for coming in on today's stream. And that was Omora Mio Vakran. Thank you for coming in. John H. Roberts, thank you so much for joining us over on Twitch. Luciano joined us earlier, said, please no Hitlery, I'm still digesting breakfast. Jermaine G joined us earlier, Alien Believers and Information Man Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Marianne Bird, California Dreaming in NYC. Oh, thanks so much. California Dreaming NYC. We don't do super chats here. Just check out the homepage, the channel page for the options there. I don't really have. We have Patreon, and we do have there's some other links over there. So check that out. You can, if you want, if you're comfortable with that. It's not required here. I thank you for your support. Alex Leaping Jones was here, and AZ Infidel was here also. Also, I am on Discord, and I'm going to be doing a couple of trials on Discord. We're going to have, I think, do People's Pendulum over on Discord. And I think we're going to host the potluck, the preppers potluck from the People's Pendulum. So I think the other day, at least there was a link. I had a link up the other day giving you access to that. So if you're still interested, go over to the community tab and check out the homepage, find out, other things about the show and what's happening. I appreciate it. Hello, DJ Vision Barnett. Thank you so much for tuning in on your Saturday. Yes. So here's the deal. I'll put it here. Is Black Spring Now is the handle. Black Spring Now, and that's hashtag the Wicked End 666. Black Spring Now, hashtag 7666. That's where you can find me there. Also, I do believe I think there is a link over on the community tab. So if you're interested in, I think that link only lasts 7 days, but I will be doing some testing over there today, and I'll probably run a couple of tests live over there so that you can see what's happening there. It's just, I kind of like some of the things that are going. There's a voice channel there, so I think if you want to if you don't want to show your face like we do here, then you can also you can use the voice. There's a voice channel I have there. There's People's Pendulum. There's a voice channel, and we'll be using that event stage to do live streams there. So I think we're going to do some of our, dare I say, less essential to this world. We'll do our less essential and more and less covert. Our more covert stuff will happen over there on People's Pendulum versus here. But you can check that out on the community tab, or just go over to Discord. And I think you can sign up for your own account just to access Discord. And then you can get, if you were also a member of Patreon, then you'll get updates there as well on People's Pendulum. Will definitely be Patreon. And I appreciate you guys so much for supporting. And California Dreamed and NYC says, thank you. You are appreciated. Yeah, that is the part. That's Discord's way of tagging or handling people. I mean, I'll probably change that, but right now it's kind of generic. So yeah, but check us out over on Discord, or check me out check the community tab out, tag out. I think there's maybe one more day. So if you want to join from that end, you can do that. You'll be able to see the testing on you'll see the test for the People's Pendulum. Thank you so much, AZ Infidel. See, who would I be? Who would I be without AZ Infidel? So that's the Discord. There's the invite. Thank you so much for doing that. So yeah, check us out over there. There's some options there. There's some tools there that I'm checking out, exploring there, and I'm happy that they're there. It's nice that we have another option for streaming, and we'll do live events there as well. So the potluck, the preppers potluck, I think we're going to host it there. So I advise you, if you want to go ahead and get involved in that, to send me an email, and then I can also send you a link from your email if you're interested in doing the preppers potluck, because I think we're going to do it there. There we'll be featuring things like first aid, like cold remedies, home remedies. California Dreaming NYC says, please, those numbers, lol, I'm scared to type. I'm being facetious, of course. Pay me no money. I don't like those numbers either, but I'm wondering how often does that happen? I don't know. I'll fix that in the very near future. I will. So thank you guys so much for tuning in on this segment of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Guess What's Coming to Dinner? Hope you guys are surviving your holidays, or if you're celebrating, or if you're not, we're welcome down. Oh, California Dreaming and NYC said, I definitely want to do the prepper spotlight. Please come on. Yeah, please do that. And so this is where you can contact me. I want to just, see what you guys are interested in presenting. This is, it's a slight screen of what you want to present. But of course, I think you guys are more than reasonable. If you have something on some other forms of energy, whether it be solar, or if you have some ways of, sustaining energy in the event of blackouts, maybe it's Faraday cages. I don't know. Just let me know what you want to present. If you want to present more than one thing, then you're more than welcome to do that. to do that as well. So, it's up to you guys what you want to present on there. I just need to know what kind of number, what I need to know for the interest, and then I need to know for the sake of for planning and how much time do we need. And then I need to find out how much time I have on that segment. And if not, I need to do it. We might have to move it here depending on how many people are interested in participating. We have 6 people. I don't know we give you 10 minutes each or something like that. Yeah, or we'll take what time we need, but I just need a general idea for the sake of planning on that. So once again, I thank you guys so much for tuning in on your Saturday, and have a great day. And check us out on Discord. There'll be more things coming out about Discord that we've been testing there. There's a voice channel, and the voice channel, People's Pendulum, and then also I do regular post on that Discord channel as well. Also, if I can I might have a special guest, an international guest coming on to talk about some things, and we'll see how that goes. I'll give you the update on that as soon as I have more details. All right. Okay, let's see. I haven't put a date on it yet because I'm still waiting for the interest. I'm still looking for the interest from you guys. So I'll put that out as well. California Dreaming in NYC. Also Patreon. I tend to post things up there. Okay, well, they'll be here. The links will be here. Once this post, you'll see all the links here, and then I'll put more links up on the community tab, California Dreaming in NYC. So just check out the community tab because I'm going to make some official kind of flyers and that kind of a bit. And then also for our special guest, I'm trying to keep my fingers crossed that we can get this particular guest to come on. I'll be posting that up as well for you. All right, guys, absolutely enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you are. Stay warm. And California Dreaming says, just want to make sure my info is ready. Yes. I will. I'm going to be posting details about the Preppers Potluck on there, where it will be. We might do it both places because I'm still new to Discord, but there's some other options there, some fun options on Discord. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your weekend / Saturday.